Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about advice to brand new, recent graduates of medical billing and coding. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. Recently, I've been getting lots of emails from people who have just finished their program and just passed their credential exam. And if that is you, congratulations. Welcome to your bright new future. And so here's my advice for like the job hunting process and sort of what to expect and that kind of thing, all into one episode. I have many other episodes about this, but I sort of break them down into other things. This is just going to be a little bit more detail. All right, so let's get started. All right, so you are brand new and you just got your credential. And maybe you're thinking, well, I know I need to have a really good resume, so let me go ahead and hire a professional. Here's my thoughts on that. A lot of people have asked me lately, well, what about getting a professional to write my resume? Here's the deal. Nobody is going to be able to write this resume better than you. And if you say, well, Blue, I really don't like writing, you're going to have to get used to it because that's part of this. That's part of medical coding. It's not just about looking up the codes. It's not just about knowing the rules. It's actually about communicating. And that's a good percentage of what we do is communicate. You have to be able to communicate with alpha personalities. That is not a negotiation. I mean, anywhere you go, you have to be willing to be open to these experiences. You can't just put yourself in a position where you're saying, well, I can't really do that. I don't want to do that, or I'm too shy. I started out very shy. When I became a medical coder, I was very shy in the beginning. I was very nervous when I first had to speak to providers. But after a while, it was something that I got used to, and now I can't wait. Whenever I get a new provider in, I pounce, okay? Because I like meeting new people. I like meeting new providers because this gives me a chance to start developing a relationship right away. And you want to do that because it's important. Now, yes, there are some facilities that have somebody to take care of those kinds of things, like they have the clinical documentation improvement people, or they've got, you know, the liaisons. They've got some facilities have that, but if they don't, you have to be prepared to start to do that. So it's all going to start with your resume, right? And if you say, well, Blue, I'm not a very good writer, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And even if that means doing things that you don't particularly like to do. Now, the thing with writing is it gets easier and better with time. Just take a Saturday, get a notepad and write down all of your skills. And if you say, well, I've never worked in medical coding before, I've never worked in the health information sector before, how do I start this? There's a thing called transferable skills. You have your soft transferable skills and you have hard transferable skills. So the soft transferable skills is being able to communicate well, doing basic accounting, cash handling, things like that. Those are soft skills that you can, well, they can be hard skills, but for the most part, those are things that can transfer over depending on what you're going to be applying for, whether it is for a medical coder position or a medical biller position. Now, a lot of people will say there's a lot of places that expect you to have experience before they even want to hire you. If you take the time to watch some of my videos, I do have a playlist called Medical Coding Job Listings Explained, and I talk about all of the different titles that they use. They don't just always put it as medical coder or medical biller and coder. They're going to put it as different titles. Sometimes it's health information tech. Sometimes it's medical records tech. It's hidden in the language. So it's very important that you guys know that there is a variety, okay? The people that are writing these job postings are not always the health information management people. It is usually somebody from HR who is given a list and said, here, this is what we need. This is what we are requiring. So write the job listing. And they'll write it in a very basic way. Sometimes you'll even see them say, ICD-9 experience preferred when we are not even in ICD-9 at all. We are in ICD-10. So please take the time to watch those videos if you haven't had a chance to. But getting back to this list, you can use templates when you are writing a resume. Write your own resume, people. Don't go to a professional. A lot of people go to a professional, and professionals are expensive. Now, the employer is going to know that this is professionally written, especially if your vocabulary does not match that of your resume. They're going to know that you paid somebody to do this resume. So really, your resume could continually be passed over because of this. So you need to make sure that it is genuine, it is sincere, and it is from you. Because as long as your resume matches your tempo, then you're good, right? But anybody can write a really good resume. And I really do believe that, because there are templates out there, and there's nothing that says you can't use a template, right? And you use this as a guide. Write down all of your skills. Write down any awards that you've had. Write down all the things that you learned in school. You learned about medical terminology, anatomy, physiology. Well, guess what? A lot of times on these job listings, they'll say, we want somebody with strong medical terminology, anatomy, and physiology. We need somebody who speaks and clearly communicates in English well. So if that is your language, then put it on there. So you have to be able to do these things. Look at the job listings and see, what are they looking for? And do you have any of these skills? Have you worked with like Microsoft Office Suite? That is something that you can put on there. That a lot of times is what they're looking for as well. I don't have experience with these electronic health records. I can't possibly put that on there. No, but you can look on the on YouTube. The wonderful thing about YouTube is that there are tutorial videos for everything. Epic has tutorial videos, and Epic is one of the biggest electronic health records in the industry. So if you're looking for one on that, look and see what the facility that you're applying for. Look and see what electronic health record they are using, because a lot of times they'll say Epic experience preferred. That's when you know, okay, this facility uses Epic. And then when you're watching these tutorial videos, you could put this on your cover letter. Now, your cover letter, I've talked about cover letters. I did a whole video about it, and I'll link it down in the description box below. But with the cover letters, this is a wonderful time for you to grab their attention. Because if your resume looks like every other new graduate's resume, right? This is going to be your opportunity to stand out. And a lot of people don't realize what a secret weapon the cover letter actually is. This is your chance to stand out, and this is your chance to shine. You don't want to sound like everybody else. They don't need to know that you don't have experience. They know. They know by looking at your resume that you don't have experience. Don't highlight that. Highlight the fact that you've learned all these other things, everything that you've learned. It doesn't need to be a regurgitation of what you got on your resume, but it needs to be about maybe the things that you find fascinating about what you learned while you were in school, and how excited you are to be in this field, and that you're ready to learn. And talk about your experience. What led you here? Why are you applying with them? Basically, they need to know, why should they give you a chance? Be creative about it. And in the video that I talk about cover letter tips, I do say that there's a couple of them on there just to sort of give you guys some inspiration, because I didn't share my cover letter. And I think it's important, because when you are doing these things, you don't want to copy somebody else's cover letter. You don't want to sound like somebody else. You want to come up with your own things, guys. It's very important. You have to do that. And you have to start soon, all right? And if you are still in school, take the time to write a few. Even if you're out looking for a job, right? Write a few different resumes. Get them and write one, and then write another one, and use a different template, and use a different format, and see which one feels right for you, which one works. But don't pass. This is not something to pass off to somebody else to do for you. Because again, when you are going in for these interviews, they're going to be able to tell right away if you paid to have this done. And yeah, it looks nice. It's pretty, right? These professional cover letters are really nice, and they look good. But it's not gonna, if it doesn't match up with the person. If I was a hiring manager, nope, next. because this person schlepped this responsibility off onto somebody else. I need somebody that's going to be able to do their own thing. And we have so many Word document helper things, programs out there that can help you write a really good resume. Keep the money for yourself that you're going to spend trying to pay a professional to do something that you can do for yourself. Don't schlep this responsibility, guys. I'm telling you. Please don't do that. Because as somebody that has been in the field and who has successfully applied at 4 different places and got 4 different positions, I can tell you that resumes and cover letters mean a lot. When you're doing a cover letter, you need to try to find out who you're addressing it to. Don't say sir or ma'am. Try to get a name. Try to, at least. If you can't, just, okay, hiring manager, something, director of hiring or whatever. But usually they kind of have a name on there. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that is part of what I have to say on that. And then if they do take a chance on you and they interview you, make sure that you follow it up later, maybe in a couple of days. Send them an email or something and say, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me. No, you don't have to be like, oh, I hope you hire me and that kind of thing. No, just let them know that you enjoyed meeting with them. And basically what you want to put across is that every time you go on an interview, it's giving you more of a chance to learn more, right? To learn more about what's going to be in store for you. Getting a job as a brand new medical coder is difficult. And I wish that is one thing about the industry that would change. Because I think a lot of people, when they encounter a lot of those things, and maybe they weren't told about it while they were in school, it's just really hard, especially when you hear from somebody who is so excited and they want to get in, and then they hear a lot of no, and then they get discouraged and they just sort of give it up. And that to me is very hard. It's very hard to hear that, because I think what potential talent was this person, and to just sort of walk away from it is heartbreaking. And while you are looking for a job, continue to study. This is not the time to step back and say, oh, now I can relax. No, it's not. This is a time when you still need to be working on your coding workbooks. If you have a coding workbook, I do leave the link for my favorite down in the description box below. And when you're working on these coding workbooks, this way you can still continue to practice. A lot of times people will tell me, Blue, I've been at a school for 6 months, 8 months, and I finally got a chance to get in somewhere, and I took their pre-assessment and I just completely bombed it because I didn't know what I was doing. I have forgotten. That's why you guys need to stay on top of this stuff. You have a credential to maintain now, because every credential, right, every medical coding credential is going to require you to have continuing education units, or CEUs. And if you are not maintaining those, it becomes a problem. You have this 2-year period to get all of these continuing education units in, and you have to continually study. And a lot of times with certain employers, it is a benefit of your employment. At my employment, at my employer, they do offer us continuing education units every single month. We do have a meeting, and we have different educational topics. And there's plenty of ways to get continuing education units. You can literally Google and free continuing education units for medical coders, and websites will pop up. So be sure to look at those. And that way you can see the other alternatives to getting continuing education units. It is your responsibility, once you get that credential, to be able to maintain it. You worked hard for it. You don't want to lose it, okay? Because these tests are no joke, right? I mean, obviously, you just passed the test, Nobody wants to go through that anxiety or that test, test taking. You don't want to go through that. Not necessarily if you don't have to, right? Again, to do it again. But yes, you got to work on those things. Continually work on those. Just read the journals as you get them. I know AAPC has theirs. AHIMA has theirs. And there's For the Record as well. Now, For the Record magazine is a free magazine, and it is available free to AHIMA members and AAPC members. So I will try to look for that link again and leave it down in the description box below. Subscribe. This is a really good resource because it is a magazine that they mail to you and you can read it at your leisure. So take the time and read those. It's not just for show, you really do have to take the time to read those. The health information management field, medical coding, medical billing, it is constantly being updated. So it is imperative that you guys stay on the edge of knowing everything. And it's just going to take time. So whatever you do, don't get overwhelmed. And when you do start in a brand new job, it is okay to ask questions, but make sure that you are doing all of your research before you go running to your coworkers, because coworkers, they're going to know that you are brand new in the beginning. And believe it or not, they're going to be watching you. They're going to see, what is this person made out of? Or, oh, he or she is always asking questions and not doing the research. Do your research, guys. Before you go and ask a question, do your research. If you are going through audits and maybe you're not getting a lot of things right, you need to ask for an explanation, because a good auditor will be able to tell you their resource, and not just because they say so. Sometimes that does happen though. But if you're getting marked wrong, you need to understand why. And it is okay to ask those questions. As part of our ethics, we have to be able to stand up for what is correct and what is right. And that is important, because if something is being coded wrong, we have to speak up. Ethically, we are bound to speak up if something is being coded incorrectly. But if a auditor is telling you, well, this is the reason that I get this answer, and it is legitimate from really good resources, solid resources like the Encoder and things like that, or the AHA Coding Clinic, then those are legitimate resources. So you want to make sure that you are understanding why, whatever you do. Just do your research. And like I said, research is key to everything. And this field is a lot. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot. I have over 400 videos, and I talk about every single facet of this profession. Every single one. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I do. But I also say that I really do love it. And this was a joy that came after a while when you learn, right? And if you are around your coworkers and say, for instance, you learn something, share your knowledge. Share it, because it's to share your knowledge and to be able to pass on those things that others may not have known. If it's something new, it's a really good thing, because it fosters really good communication even with your coworkers. But sometimes coworkers, they get a little, well, I already knew that, but actually they didn't know it, and they just kind of say it because they don't want to feel like somebody's showing them up, and I hate that. That is one of the things that it's very annoying, because it's a team. Medical coding is a team effort. Yes, we code our own things, but it is a team effort at the end of the day. And having really good communication with your coworkers is a really wonderful thing when you can have it, okay? It is a gift, all right? But always be open to taking constructive criticism. You have to get that. And you have to develop a thick skin. Oh, please, develop a thicker skin, because that thick skin is going to help you. If somebody's telling you that you're doing something wrong, as far as like the coding wise, they're trying to help you. Sometimes some people are just sort of overzealous about it, right? And I get it, right? And you're just like, I don't always want to always be told that I'm wrong. That's when you know you have to really start digging in and studying. If you're assigned to a clinic, say you get assigned to the OBGYN clinic, you need to find every single website, resource, anything that you can about OBGYN. If you're being assigned to the ortho clinic, Ortho is all injuries. Injuries and organic conditions, things that the body does to itself, like osteoarthritis. And there's different types. There's primary, there's secondary, there's post-traumatic, lots of different kinds. Orthoinfo.org is one of my favorite websites to look at when it comes to understanding the disease process for ortho diagnoses. So really sort of look into those. Every specialty has them. Family practice has them, cardio has them, gastro has them, neuro has them. Every place has them. But reading is really big. Watching videos to understand surgeries is also big. And I'm telling you guys this because I didn't know about watching surgeries when I first started. And then when I found out, because I was starting to code for like same-day surgeries, and I started watching the same-day surgeries on YouTube, now this makes sense. Because as they're narrating the stuff, okay, now when I'm reading it, it makes sense. Because there's a huge difference between reading something and not really understanding what's going on, but comprehending it, and then really knowing what's going on and comprehending what you're reading. And then you're like, oh, okay, this, and this. And as I said in many other videos, what the doctors document is not always going to translate into the book, right? You're not always going to be able to find it in the book because of the way that they word things. So you have to be able to understand synonyms. And the only way you're going to be able to do that, reading. That's the only way. But it will get easier. You will start to learn after a while where to find things and who to go to for help. Because you have to be very particular about who you ask for help. Always find somebody who shows you how to find those resources. Not somebody that just gives you the answer just so you can go away. You want somebody to find a mentor, right? That's what you want to basically find, is a mentor. But you need to do a lot of this stuff independently as well. So keep that in mind. But it is good to reach out. I do have one mentor. I have myself. She is my coding hero. And she was my boss at the second position that I had, my supervisor. And amazing coder. And anything I ask her, and she's so humble. She always says, I don't know everything, but I just know how to find it. And I said, that's all I need. And just being able to have that somebody to bounce off things. And I'll call her occasionally and tell her, I need a consult. I need to be either pushed off the fence or try to help me. Because I'll tell her, I see it this way. It's documented this way. The book says this. And I don't know what to do. And she'll say, oh, that's a good one. And she'll do vice versa. She'll call me. She's like, I need you to help me on this one because I don't know. And she's not a big ortho fan. So I said, well, at least I know I'm useful for something. But of course she says, oh, Blue, you're a good coder. You know it. But, I help her with that. And, it works out. So we have a very good relationship there when it comes to that. And this has been a 10+ year relationship. So it's nice. It's good. It's good to have people like that you can count on. So anyway, but that's my advice. Keep your money, write your own resume, do things yourself. Even if you don't feel comfortable doing it, there's lots of resources out there. Plenty of resources to help you. I do resume reviews, and I do professional coaching, right? So it's resume reviews. I do mock interviews one-on-one. So if you're interested, my hourly rate is $25 per hour. And you can contact me at my email below. And we can set up a Zoom session. And that's how I do that. So, and I also do tutoring. So that's also an option as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have for today. But yes, it is a wonderful profession, and you'll be glad that you chose it when you do get into it. But stay strong, guys. Just stay strong. That's all you got to do. Apply everywhere, regardless if they're asking you for experience. Keep applying. Make sure your resume and your cover letter looks good. Okay? But set yourself up for success and do those things. Look for your resources, and when you're applying for jobs, Whether you're applying for medical records or you're applying for medical billing or, medical coding, you want to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward always, guys. And that's my advice. I'm going to wrap this one up. If you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye!